Balancing act, and I was workplace reporter at the Telegraph when work choices came in, so I know what a dog of a workplace policy looks like. Now, there's a couple of things. I am sympathetic to the needs of businesses to be able to remain viable. There's no point being a very well-paid worker in a business that doesn't exist because you're an unemployed worker. There is also, it's difficult to say that, well, we could hire 2 people if we paid them less and have 2 people not on a wage where they could afford to live in Sydney or Melbourne, and to a lesser extent the other capitals where you've got, housing costs alone rising very quickly. So you have to start from a position where you say, well, this is how much we pay people in Australia. We don't pay them the same as we pay them in China. We don't pay the same as we pay them in the Philippines. That's because we have a philosophical commitment to paying someone a living wage. That means a wage that you can actually feasibly live on. Now, the question, though, as to whether or not there are discrepancies within the award system that do deprive businesses of flexibility is a separate one, if you will. Now, businesses sort of run 2 arguments on this. Usually they just try to say it's not about cost cutting at all, it's just about being flexibility and productivity, and I'm all for that. So if you are in hospitality, and this answers Anne's question as well, hospitality in a sense is a unique industry where it's not the only industry to work unusual hours, but it's an industry where working on weekends, working nights is the norm. That is when people go out, that is when people go away. So there's a special case to be made that, in fact, someone else's, a bank worker's Monday to Friday is equivalent to a hospitality worker's Thursday to Sunday. Now, as long as that worker is getting the same amount of money in their pocket at the end of the week, and that is the critical thing, then I have no problem with smoothing out penalty rates so that, you get paid the same amount on Sunday as you do on Saturday, as you do on a Friday night, as you do on a Thursday night. But that has to be compensated by either an overall rise in base pay so that the worker is not left off at the end of, worse at the end of their week, not necessarily their shift, or some other mechanism. So basically there are 2 tests that should apply to any workplace relations policy. Can the business survive, and will workers be left worse off? If you can satisfy both those criteria, I don't see why any...
Okay, well, let's go back to Josh Frydenberg now.